Well, hello there, everybody. My name is Didi Verg, and I'm your host for Let's Talk Hypnosis. And today we'll be speaking with Jess Marion. Welcome to the show, Jess.
Thank you so much, Didi. It is a pleasure and an honor to be chatting with you today.
Absolutely. So Let's Talk Hypnosis is brought to you by Hypnothoughts Live. And let me tell you a little bit about Jess so you can get a feel for her. She's really, really amazing. So Jess is a humanistic neuro-linguistic psychology trainer, a hypnosis trainer, a brain-based leadership trainer, and consulting hypnotist. She's also the co-founder of the Intelligent Hypnotist and a published author with over 10 titles. She works with both private and corporate clients around the world, and Jess brings a very dynamic and unique perspective to her trainings as she's integrating hypnosis and neuroscience along with her background in anthropology. She also offers her own unique perspective being a blind hypnotist. So at this year's Hypnothoughts, Jess is going to be offering a 1-hour workshop on the 3 brains and a 2-day pre-conference workshop along with Sarah Carson about how you can go from pre-write to publication, your step-by-step guide to becoming a published author and skyrocketing your hypnosis business. So, Jess, tell us a little bit about you. How did you first get into the world of hypnosis?
Oh, well, I've always been very, very fascinated with the mind, and I really got interested in hypnosis as a kid. I can remember seeing a TV program, and I think it was Paul McKenna or one of these guys, and he was working with a client and helped her overcome a fear of flying. And of course, with like TV editing, it looked like it happened in 2 minutes and looked like complete magic. And to me, it was complete magic, and I got really fascinated by what is this thing that is hypnosis. So when I went off to university in the early 2000s, I was very fortunate that the school that I went to happened to have an extensive library of Milton Erickson's works, as well as a lot of the works from Bandler and Grinder, as well as the Andreases. So I was really fortunate to have this vast library to kind of dive into for 4 years.
Yeah, and that's amazing because what school would have, there must have been some kind of hypnosis enthusiast that was, like on the board of directors or something of the university. So, boy, that's a really great synchronicity. Yeah. So you have a really neat perspective that you're coming from because you talk about the idea that we have 3 brains. Can you just share with us a little bit about those 3 brains and what is the benefit of a hypnosis practitioner knowing this and working with those 3 different brains?
Sure. So I have to say, like, this isn't just me. This is in our lineage of HNLP through John Overder. And we do have at least 3 brains. And in fact, we probably have more than that. But we know that scientifically speaking, that we have neurons in our stomachs, our gut, and we have neurons in the heart that function independent from the brain. So we have brain tissue not only in the brain, but also in the heart and the gut. In the heart, the brain tissue is linked to some of the neurotransmitters that create connection. So, I mean, very real. When we think about love, we think about the heart. This is not by accident. So the brain that's inside the heart is about fulfillment, connection, having value, getting in touch with those deeper values that we all have, the things that really are the undercurrent for whatever we're doing. For example, in hypnosis, why is your heart in it? Whatever the answer, that's it. Whatever the answer to that is, that's coming from the heart brain.
Okay.
The gut brain, this is instinct. You got to follow your gut. And the gut brain is also about taking action or not taking action. This is linked to our sympathetic response in terms of the fear response, but it's also linked to motivation and procrastination. So the reason why for hypnotists it's useful to keep this model in mind is because, we're not just working with the cognitive part of the person. We have a person who has feelings, who has values. We have a person who's resourceful and has an instinct. For me, the reason why I originally dove deeply into this was because I was working with people with issues around motivation and procrastination.
Okay.
And as many hypnotists know, these guys can be really frustrating. And so I had to start wondering, okay, like, why? Where does the motivation go? When they say that they want to do something or they want to take action, they're in our office, they say they have this goal they want to achieve. but then they don't do it. What stops them? Mm-hmm. And it usually is linked to the gut either saying this isn't right, or the gut and the heart aren't in it. So it's here, but it's not in the heart, and it's not in the gut.
So they're not congruent, yeah. They're not congruent on all the levels.
Yes, exactly. So it's very easy to work with the head, but we really need the heart and the gut involved. The heart for the emotion and the gut to take action. And this comes out of not just the neuroscience that we know about brain cells, but there's also been a lot of work around heart math. If you're familiar with that, that talks about the heart brain as well.
Just let me clarify for everybody, because the Skype went a little fuzzy there. She's talking about the Heart Math Institute. She's talking about the Heart Math Institute. So for everybody who's interested, you can go check out their work, and they explain about those three brains, and they have a lot of research that backs it up as well.
Yep.
Now, you are offering a 2-day workshop on becoming a published author and how to skyrocket your hypnosis business profile. So as an author with over 10 titles, tell us, what did that do for your business?
It's done a couple of things. Well, actually, probably more than a couple of things. The first thing it does for any hypnotist is it builds your reputation and it builds your authority in whatever area you're writing.
Okay.
Did it freeze, or can you hear?
I can still hear you. It's a little patchy.
So it builds your authority. Okay, great. So it builds your authority with your desired audience. So if you're looking to build your client list, then what it's going to do is place you in a position above the competition, if you will, because when people start looking for a hypnotist, they don't know how to pick the right hypnotist. Mm-hmm. So the temptation at first for a lot of new clients is to shop around for price. If you have a book credit on your website to you, now all of a sudden, clients who that book applies to are going to go, oh, they must be the authority. This is going to be the right person. Right. The next thing having a book or multiple books does is it brings you new clients. People will find your book on Amazon or whatever marketing strategies you employ. They'll buy the book. They'll fall in love with you. And they'll self-select to be your clients. And these clients end up being amazing, amazing clients because they are congruent with your message through and through. They're very easy to work with, and they're a lot of fun. The third thing it does is it generates monthly passive income. In the marketing world, we call these PIGs, a passive income generator. So it can be as passive or active as you want. If you're going to do a big launch campaign and continually market the book, then it's not so passive anymore, but you'll get more sales. If you just kind of take it hands off, the potential is still there, especially the more books you have in a field, to continue to generate revenue, and it just goes into your account monthly. So it's another income stream for hypnotists.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what can people expect to take away with them when they take your 2-day course in this year's upcoming Hypnothoughts?
Fantastic question. We know that writing a book can be really daunting, and it can be daunting for a couple of reasons. Some hypnotists know that you have a book inside of you and you're just like ready for it to come out, but you're not sure how to make that happen. Other hypnotists have the manuscript and they're like, okay, now what? How do I actually take this manuscript and transform it into the galley proof in my hand? So this course is going to be addressing both levels. The first part of the course is going to be about, first of all, making sure that the hypnotist's emotional state is in the right place so that you can continue and follow through on every aspect of the writing and publishing process, because this is the long haul. Our first book took a year to get out. We've streamlined it through processes that we'll be sharing, but the first book will take time. And you have to have the right emotional skill set so that you stick with it and it doesn't like a chapter in just kind of out of sight, out of mind. The next thing we're going to be doing is showing you how to structure the book so that you speak both to the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. We're hypnotists, and we can use language and we can use the structure of the book itself to positively influence the unconscious mind of the reader. For us, in our worldview in NLP, it's not enough to just present conscious content, because that goes in one ear and out the other. You read a book, oh, that's really interesting, and then you forget it. What we want is to help hypnotists create manuscripts that will stay with the reader, that can create change or can inspire whatever the hypnotist's outcome is for the book. So we're going to show you how to do a pre-write that will allow you to structure the book that way. We're going to show you how to then go ahead and write in a way. So it's what type of language to use, how to use active voice versus passive voice, and when you're going to want to use both, how to include, if you want to do overtly hypnotic scripts or texts in the book, the way to do that effectively, and also how to use metaphor effectively. Then the second part of the training, so if you think about this is like about getting your manuscript ready. If you have a manuscript, you'll learn some things in this part. If you don't have a manuscript yet, bring your idea, because we're going to do a lot of work around this. We're going to do a lot of brainstorming and a lot of exercises to get the attendees comfortable. The second part is the technical side, and this is where actually a lot of my consulting, I work with hypnotists privately who want to get their book published. I do a lot of consulting in that area. And this is really how do you get the manuscript from the Word document into a published book. So we're going to go through how do you format for publication for print? How do you format for ebooks? We're going to be talking about some of the kind of pitfalls that are out there, some of the landmines that kind of pull some people in, but they're really not useful. For example, issues around what type of ISBN number to get. We'll also be talking about the technical side of uploading the book, uploading digital proof, how to find editors. There are 3 different types of editors, and it's important to know which type you're going to need as an author. So we'll go through how to find those. And then we'll talk about how to get the cover designed and get that uploaded. So it's going to be, that side is the technical side of it, so that once the manuscript's written, attendees know what to do. We take out guesswork, because, when it comes to publishing, and I'm kind of the CIO in the company, so I do a lot of this side, a lot of the tech, and a lot of the management of this part of the publication process. And I've kind of made every mistake in the book somewhere along the way. So I want other hypnotists to not have to do that, to be able to streamline it. We have it streamlined now depending on how much time we choose to put into writing the book. If we marathon it, we can have a book from pre-write to publication in less than 3 months. And that's including 6 weeks worth of editing and formatting.
Wow.
We want to share that. And that's, if I'm going to dedicate, 2 months to doing it. But we got clients and other things as well. But we will show you how to do it. If somebody wants to do it that way, or like us, you kind of take your time, but you know that this is a streamlined process, so that you really become the master of your destiny in terms of when the book comes out.
Right. Sounds like from beginning to end, you're going to walk them through everything that they could possibly need to go through, and it sounds like in the beginning you're going to work with the head, heart, gut alignment as well, with what's stopping them.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
because this is one of the things that stands in the way of a lot of people finishing publication is they get inspired. The inspiration, that's kind of a high energy state when we go into writing, and high energy states like that are not sustainable in the long run. So we need some resiliency in some ways to activate other emotional states that will carry you through the project. So we will be spending time on that.
Right. And if anyone doubts the power of writing a book and using hypnotic language, we only have to look at Alan Carr, The Easy Way to Quit Smoking. Many people had come to me and said, that's how I quit smoking. I just read this book. And one day I ordered the book. I'm like, I need to know, what is this guy doing? It's like people just quit. It's like John Sarno's book on back pain. Their back pain goes away. So I analyzed the book a little bit from a hypnotist point of view. It wasn't as hypnotic as I would have thought, but his message was constant and consistent, and it was speaking to partially emotionally what's going on, but it was just repetitive. It was like repetition, constant suggestions all the time. So again, if anyone doubts the power of the mind to help, the power of a book, to help people change their mind when it's written from a hypnotic point of view, I mean, just look at that phenomena. So
yeah, you can check out the reviews for our book, I Quit. It's the same thing.
I Quit. Okay, wonderful. Yeah.
So and that's really the one book that we wrote specifically for the client base, and the reviews for that are fantastic. Our Deep Trance Identification book is another exercise in hypnotic manuscript, as well as Sean and myself co-wrote that with John Overdurf, and John Overdurf and Julie Silverthorne's book, Training Trances, is a wonderful example of really kind of overt hypnotic writing. You'll definitely change some states reading that text.
Like making passive income, it's passive hypnosis. You just read it and you change. Well, listen, it's been great speaking with you. I look forward to seeing you at this year's Hypnothoughts, and thank you for being with us here today, Jess.
Thank you so much, Didi. It was a lot of fun. I'm passionate about all this stuff, so I love to talk about it whenever I can. And I look forward to seeing you in, 8 weeks? A little bit less?
It's coming up really shortly. So until then.